Hey everybody, welcome to The Mountain Gamer. I am Steve and this is my dog, Toshiro, and he is sleeping. Thank God. Alright, today I'm doing today and for many days, I'm going through the war campaign called Forlorn Hope for this War of Mine, and this comes in the expansion Tales of the Ruined City. Now, disclaimer, if you have never played this War of Mine, this is not the video to learn how to play the game. So if you've never played the game, if you want to learn how to play it, maybe check out my other videos. One of them is a full campaign, and the other is about mistakes that you might be making on your first few games. So maybe check those out, because this campaign changes a lot of stuff from the regular game, mostly in the way you explore and the way you scavenge. And it also takes away all the reality impacts, those random reality impacts, and it replaces it with stuff from the campaigns. There's a lot of story in this, like more than usual, and branching paths and many things that you want to do and you can't do everything and all that. But if you have played the game before or not, if you just want to sit back, relax, and enjoy the epic, well, relax. I mean, this is this War of Mine, right? It's in war-torn Eastern Europe and things are not going well. So if that sounds good to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the epic story that is this War of Mine, Forlorn Hope. What about you? You gonna watch it? Hey, Toshiro. All right, let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome to The Mountain Gamer, and welcome to my playthrough of the Forlorn Hope campaign. I've never played through this thing. It's the first time I used this expansion, and yeah, Forlorn Hope is a 3-act campaign, and it actually has diverging paths. You start with Act 1, but then, all depending on the decisions you make and all that, you can go to Act 2A or 2B. And then once you're there, this can also split into 2 others. So you can replay it a few times, actually. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to jump right into it. I won't talk about, you know, all of the setup things and all that. You can, if you decide to buy this expansion, you can look that up yourself. It takes a long time. It took me about a half an hour to just set the thing up, because you got to take some cards out, put some cards in, set up the whole board. Just the rules just as, you know, as much as I love this game, the rule book is awful. Okay, let's be honest. They go through this long-winded way of explaining the rules, but anyway, I think I have it down now. One of the main changes, as you see here, is this this city board, basically the map. And when we go scavenging, we have to physically move on this map, and then we have to discover locations. And basically, the big change, what I feel is you can't go to the same location twice. Because let's say we go to the ruined cafe over here, which is represented by the red thing. So the ruined cafe is in the factory district. So we'll have to move like from our house to go there. And then if we search the ruined cafe, we take off this little token here. And this means that, you know, when we take it off, we can then, you know, explore. But if we go back there, there's nothing to explore. Like all of the goods are gone, right? You can still go there and get, you know, water and components and wood, but you won't be able to draw any new cards from this deck. Basically, it's like you've pillaged the whole place, right? There's nothing left. So that's one of the main changes, I feel. And also, some of these soldiers are going to walk around and stuff like that. There's special rules. So we'll get into it right now. Let's jump into it with some flavor text, because this game is all about, you know, the story and the flavor text. So let's do this. It seems the horrible siege is a natural way of life for us now. With no help coming from outside Pogoran, we focus solely on everyday survival. Often in this struggle, we forget we are not the most vulnerable ones. We forget there are the young ones who have lost their mothers and fathers, and it is up to us to give them a chance for a future, any future. The question is, how much will it cost us? As time passes, old grudges and grievances resurface among city inhabitants. There are people ready to play on such hatred that can be found only among longtime neighbors. Grozny soldiers are more numerous these days, while rumors about Viceni freedom fighters infiltrating the city can be heard on the streets almost every day. With Pogoran's resources already stretched so deadly thin, shall we survive another outbreak of hostilities? Now, in this particular expansion, there are some modules, such as, well, Orphans of War is a module, The Dog is a module, I also own the other expansion, Tales of the Ruined City, which contains the Farmer module as well as the Sewers module. But the rules for this particular campaign state that you should use no modules from no expansions, which is a bummer, because I do enjoy parts of these modules, but it's not a big deal. We'll just play as is. And so we begin with this thing here, Act 1, Home. So we can check out the flavor text here, which is oh so small. We haven't had a moment of calm for a very long time. For the last weeks, our lives have been filled with a daily struggle to survive. However, now things are getting really grim. Heavy artillery can be heard constantly. Day and night, a few times during each and every hour, a faraway, dull thud tells us that yet another shell has been sent into the sky. We cannot hear any explosions. The attack must be targeted at something a long distance away from the city. What the hell are they shooting at? Huge choppers laden with guns and rockets regularly appear over Pogoren. They fly in pairs and look as if they were ready to obliterate the city at any moment. The Grozny haven't been this active since they entered Pogoren. Until now, their patrols have looked more like casual walks through a park. They haven't had any interest in us. They haven't even bothered to put their helmets on, as if no war was happening around us. Now they wear bulletproof vests and keep fingers on rifle triggers at all time. They also search buildings, looking for some unknown enemies. People say different things. Some claim that international organizations have finally decided to do something about all this, and that the peacekeeping forces are gathering at our borders. Tanks, military aircrafts, thousands of troops. But that sounds too unbelievable. Others say that mass executions will soon decimate the city inhabitants. The Grozny military are rumored to have tens of trucks already waiting in the outskirts to take people away to the woods. It's better not to listen to any of this crap. People have been talking such bullshit from the very beginning. On the other hand, maybe there is a grain of truth in this gossip. Something is coming, and we can be sure that for us, regular citizens, it won't be anything good. So we've got some setup changes here. I mean, I've done all this event stuff. These are all brand new events, by the way. This is nothing from the base game. It says to get 3 characters, a red, a black, and a black. I did this at random. They're all hungry, of course. One is ill. They gave us some starting fittings, which is good. A simple heater and a bed, which I've put in the house over there. And we got to start with 3 water, 8 wood, 8 components, 2 veggies, and other tokens worth 10 or less. This is badly worded. This should say, and any other tokens with a total of 10 or less. We've got some cards here set up on the side. We've got some objectives cards set up on the side as well. That's pretty much it. One big new thing is when we move around the map, if there are soldiers, this will tell us how to interact with them. But basically, it's not too bad. I think the soldiers will give us fatigue, and if we're really unlucky, they'll give us wounds. And then there's a whole thing with some story tokens that, might pop up, but you never know. So there you have it, folks. Now, before we get into the starting events or everything like that, let's look at my characters here. I've got Arika, Cat Burglar, Prowess of 2, which I like. She's sneaky. Once per scavenging before rolling for the noise, Arika may lower the noise by 5. Very good. But again, she's got a lot of prowess, so she'll probably end up being on guard duty a lot. And she says here she's a burglar. When Arika uses a lockpick, she may reroll a die. That's all fine and good. I have some house rules for the lockpick, and I'll share them if we get to using a lockpick. Her spirit here, so what's going to happen most often is discard a cigarette from the storage, or you raise her misery by 2. That's horrible. So she is a hardcore smoker. Now, as you may know or may not know, the A happens more often than the B and happens more often than the C. That being said, that was in the regular Fate deck, because I'll show you up top there, they've replaced the Fate deck with something they call War Fate. So I'm actually not sure if that's going to be true about the A, the B, or the C. We could look. I believe, yeah, let's do that, just because. Well, before we do that, let's look at my other characters. I've got Anton here, Professor of Mathematics. So Spirit A, if there's at least 1 book in the storage, lower Anton's misery by 1 if he's miserable, and raise his fatigue by 1. Now, I've Googled this, and my understanding is if he's not miserable, you won't raise his fatigue, okay? It's just, it's a 1-to-1. Like, if there's a book and you lower his misery, then you bump up his fatigue. If there's a book and he's not miserable, don't bump up his fatigue. That's the way I see it. And if you disagree with me, well, tough noogies. So there you go. And B here, if Anton is hungry at level 2 or 3, you raise his illness So this guy gets ill by being hungry. And at C here, if Anton is wounded, you raise his wounds by 1. So this guy's a snowflake. We're going to need to take care of this guy. We've got Katya here. I gave her the illness. Don't remember why. I think I gave her the illness because she's got nothing that... Yeah, you see, this guy, if he's hungry, he gets ill. So let's not give him the illness, right? And Arika has a prowess of 2. I want to keep her around for a long time. So I'm like, I'm sorry, Katya. You're going to be the one who starts with the illness. So prowess 0, empathy 7. Bargain. When trading with Katya present, trade commission is lowered to 0, which is very, very good. As habits, she's a coffee drinker, so discard a coffee from the storage. And if you don't, you raise her misery by 1. And B here, if there's a guitar in the storage, which there never is, you can lower one chosen character's misery by 1 as well. And then if Katya is wounded at level 2 or 3, you raise her misery by 1. So she doesn't like to be wounded, it's going to raise her misery. If there was a guitar, she could, up everyone's spirits. And I just kind of realized I didn't really check out this thing here. So we talked about the cigarette, but B here, if there's a guitar in the storage, lower one chosen character's misery by 1. Same exact thing as Katya. If we could get a guitar, then these things activate twice. We could have a very happy group of campers right here, but as I said, the guitar is a rare thing. And then C here, no effect, which is good. Now let's look at the War Fate deck really quick without spoiling anything. Let's just see here. Spirit C, B, A, B, A. Okay, so C happens once, then it's a lot of A's, and I think there's 2 B's in there. So they do keep the same kind of activation ratio, I guess, as in the base game, so that's a good thing to know. In the setup, if you remember, I had talked about here tokens worth 10 or less, right, as a total. I believe what I'm going to be doing is, my first reflex was, oh, I'm going to go get me some meds, right, because she's ill, and this is worth 10, so that'd be good. But I'll show you on the map, when I was setting up, at random, the hospital actually came out. So I'm going to use the hospital to get her better. And as for the tokens worth 10, I chose to get this, right? 8 and 2, 10. The knife, because let's be honest, if you defend with that gray die, it's crap. So this actually gives us the yellow die. And I went for a mechanical part because I want to try and build me a workshop to soon put up some board ups, because board ups help to defend the house. There you go. Now, if you look at the house here, the way it's set up in this scenario thing, there's no cards anywhere, like no rubble or anything like that, except for this little patch here, which is kind of a bummer, right? Because if you decide to go down this way, you need a saw blade to cut this, and then you can go search the furniture. But you can't move past that way because there's a hole. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to go this way. You got to go down, dig through the rubble. Takes a lot of actions just to get through a heap, just to get through another rubble. I think this is a sort of trap, right? It's like, don't even go there. So I don't think I'm going to mess around with that. Also, you might notice I've got some Night Raids and some Resonance here. These are the cards with those red symbols that you should, plop into these decks at the end of every day or whatever. But usually in these specific scenarios, they usually say to shovel all of these things in, like most of the scenarios I've played from the first expansion. But this particular one, they don't talk about that. So I've left them on the side, and I'm going to add them in at the end of every round. You add 2, basically, at the end of every round. So that's why they're there. So let's go look at the event and the actual objective of this whole thing. All right, so the objective right now, so at the end of everything, it's got to be survive. At least 2 characters that you had in the group at the beginning of this act must survive until the end of this act, with each state, hunger, misery, wounds, illness, equal to or less than 2. Fatigue is ignored. This is very similar to what the campaign mode does in the regular base game, right? Let's go with the starting event. Let's put it over here. Add 2 to the cold space. Okay. Aiding our neighbor, CH31. So we'll go read that. And it says, when scavenging in District 2 with the Shelled Cottage, you may return 6 exploration cards to look for Peter's medicine. Okay, well, that's very specific. Now it says place this card at the top of the time track. The time track is on that map over there. This gives you like additional rules for the map, and every time you get a new one out that says put it on the time track, you push the old one down. So I guess this thing will be temporary. So this might never happen. That's very it's cool, but at the same time, I guess it makes you want to play the game again and try to make it happen. But yeah. Now, let's not forget, this says add 2 cold to the cold space. I'm going to be using a big chunky die like this because I don't like having a stack of tokens on top. So we've got 2 cold right now. And it says to go read H31. 31. And this is, of course, in the Wartime Diary, which is the new little book here. So let's go do that, H31. This is my last injection. Our neighbor, Peter, looks at us sadly. He's elderly, his eyes are cloudy and dull. He's had diabetes for a long time, and he won't survive much longer without medication. But all we can do is shrug. We don't have any meds, sorry, we answer. The old man looks even sadder, but after a moment of silence, he says, my son's a doctor. He has his office at home, and he has supplies there. We exchange looks. We didn't realize that Peter has a son. This would be an opportunity, a great one. Where, we ask. Search the locations deck for the shelled cottage. Well, there you go. And place it on a location space on the board. Ignore this effect if the card's already in the game. Place the corresponding location token in District 2. Shuffle the locations deck afterwards. Okay, cool. So we will get to see that. Determine district. Roll the black die. Place one white soldier in this district. Okay. So let's do this in order here. So first we go get the shelled cottage. Now, well, I mean, if you knew this or not, but this expansion puts in some new locations in there, which is good. There are some special locations, and it says special locations. That's just, you know, for the story itself. But there's just new locations that you can just shuffle in and use in your every game, basically, which is pretty cool. Let's go get shelled cottage here. I'm sorry, this is boring. Okay, shelled cottage. We'll shuffle that. Now, the way this works is there's no more, you know, distant, close, and these numbers are all covered, okay? You're not going to use the 6 and 12 or whatever, 10, 12, 14. You're just going to put this anywhere here. Let's say I put it right there. I pick this up, I put it there, and this means that this location is blue, and blue is on a district on this map. Now, this says to put it in District 2. So this looks like District 2, actually. Yeah, it is. Okay, so in District 2 right now, we've got this thing here, the Ruined Cafe, and this. Now you might be saying, why is this in District 2 as well? Because when you set up the game, they say draw a random location and roll a die and just place it somewhere here at random. And I did actually roll District 2. But you know, just to make things interesting, let's pretend like we didn't roll 2. Let's put it somewhere else, okay? 3, all right, so right there. There you go. So there you have it, folks. So the Ruined Cafe is in District 3, the church district. It's not the church district, it's District 3, and the church is here, right? All right, and the shelled cottage here is in the factory district. Okay, and then it says to actually place a soldier at random. So you got to roll this die. 7, so we'll take a little soldier dude, and he's going to be in the port district. Okay, let's put him over here. Now, these guys will move when we get to... I actually don't know. When we get to it, we'll get to it. But I think it's during scavenging or at the end of scavenging. They're going to move, if the game tells us to, they're going to move like following these arrows and stuff like that. And yeah, there you go. And then, of course, this says here to place this card at the top of the time track. So it's going to be way up there. Kind of boring for you guys. This game takes so much space, you guys. It's ridiculous. All right, so that's the morning phase, basically, and now we move on to the day actions. So let me have a little think about what we're going to do to start to get our survival on. Right now, just before I start, we're never going to use the new idea space. In this particular scenario, all of the fittings are shuffled together, like the advanced ones and the ordinary ones, they're all together. So whenever you want to build something, you just build something. You don't have to take the action new idea, which is, you know, pretty good in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is, she's got 2 actions because she's ill. They have 3. So she is actually going to build a thing. She's going to build the workshop. So I'm going to put her, I don't know, let's say here. So build a workshop. This requires 1 mechanical part and 5 components. See, I had all this ready actually. 5 components and 3 wood. Yeah, so this is gone basically. So while she's building that, I think these guys are going to go poke about. So let's go with, I don't know, this girl here, Arika. That's a 2, which is horrible. So that's 1 wood or component. Now, if I want to build a metal workshop, I need 5 components and 3 wood. Well, I'm going to take a component for sure. And then Anton is going to go. And he rolled a 6, which is much better. But still, 6 is just 2, right? 2 wood or components. So let's go 2 components, Do I have enough now? I think so. All right, so everybody comes back. This is now built. This will now enable me to make board ups, which are super useful. All right, so let's go with the second action. Now, do I have enough to make any of this good stuff here? To make a board up, you need a component and 4 wood. Let's say a component and 4 wood. But then, see, there's not enough to build this thing. 5 components and 3 wood. I got my 5, but I need 3 wood, so maybe I send these guys to poke about again while I send her to make a board up. Now the bad thing is, well, I always knew this, but I had to sort of ask myself about this. Can you make more board ups? Like, can you go to make board up and make like 3 of them? No, it's really 1 at a time. So that's a pain in the butt. So anyway, so she goes. She'll spend 1 component and 4 wood to put a board up. Now, board ups are pretty cool, but I always forget that I have them. Usually I just stack them up on the guard space. But they are important in the sense that if you want to go down there, you need to cross this hole or whatever. So I guess I'll put it over here. But I might forget that I have it. Every time I fight off somebody, I forget that I have a board up. So what I might do actually is just put this thing over here to remind me that I have some board ups. All right, so that was that. And then these guys are going to do some poking about. So first person... Oh, 10. That's very nice. So 4 wood and or components. You see, I have my components already, so maybe I just take it all in wood, I guess. Yeah, let's do it 4 wood. That's good, because we're going to need to burn some wood probably in the simple heater. And then my second person here. My God, that's very nice. 4 wood and or components. Let's get... I'm just going to check, because eventually I'm going to want to build a better heater situation. So let's see, efficient heater here. It needs 3 components, electrical and mechanical. Oh, that's horrible. So yeah, looking at this, I'm gonna need some components for sure. So I'm gonna get 3 components and 1 wood for a total of 4. So there we go. Okay, that's pretty good. So that was the second action. I'm just gonna put this over here. So now she's done. I'm just gonna put her on the side here, and they have a third action. Maybe somebody makes a board up, and I was thinking burn some wood because it's just too cold. Not too cold, which isn't a lot, but sometimes the game can throw a curveball at you. Or do we build the metal workshop right away? Yeah, I guess I'm all over the place here. Build a bell. This is a card. It is from the expansion, Tales of the Ruined City. I guess it's kind of a spoiler because there's like 4 or 5 scenarios in that box. And when you finish a scenario, if you win it, you can open a little envelope, and in each envelope there's a special card. It could be a fitting, it could be a narrative action, stuff like that. I've actually played through half the scenarios, and I was like, I'm opening these envelopes just because I want to see the cards. And this is one of those cards. Again, this will not spoil any story elements or whatever, but this is now in my game forever. It's a bed for the ill, and it's pretty cool, basically. See, it says take a nap here, lower the fatigue of the character placed here by 2, which is kind of, what that does, usually a bed. But then it says here, then roll the black die. On a result of 6 to 10, lower the illness of the character placed here by 1. So it's a bed that can heal you, which, if you ask me, should be in the game forever. It should always have been there, right? It's so amazing. So it's in there. I might build this eventually. But back to what we're actually doing. I think what's going to happen is she's going to go make another board up, because that really helps to lower the wounds when bad guys attack us. So that's going to be that. And then maybe this guy goes to work the simple heater a little bit, just in case we get a Warfate card that says, if it's cold by 2, blah, blah, blah. So I hate to do it, but I think I will. So he's going to burn 2 wood. And that leaves just enough for her to go 1 component and 4 wood. So 4 wood, 1 component, to put up another board up. So board up, let's place it over here. There we go. So we got 2 board ups. That's pretty cool. Okay, so next turn, if we can get some mechanical parts and some stuff on the map, then maybe we'll come back and we'll build the simple heater. I know I was talking about the metal workshop, but that's me, man. I make a plan and then I totally forget about it. That's just the way I roll. Okay, so everybody has taken some actions, which is good. Now we come to the Dusk Phase, which is my least favorite part, because now everybody has to drink and eat. Now drinking, pretty good. We got all this water. I mean, so let's actually drink it. There's no use in keeping it around. So let's drink all of that. And now they have to eat. Now, who's the guy that doesn't like to be hungry? This guy, right? So I guess he's going to eat a vegetable. And I could actually keep this if I go trading for stuff. We could. I mean, we don't have to eat it. If these guys don't eat, they're just going to go to hungry level 2. And nothing is bad here for the hunger, basically. But again, I say this like I'm going to go trading like crazy, but honestly what's going to happen is we're going to go to the hospital to get her better, right? And that's a lot of exploration cards. It's 6 exploration cards to trade. I'm sorry, I mean 4 exploration cards to heal and 6 to trade. Well, we could maybe... But what would we be trading for? Maybe some mechanical parts and some stuff like that. You know what? I'm not gonna eat this. I'm gonna bring this somewhere. Okay, so he's eating this, so he stays the same. And then these guys go, I'm so hungry, so we're gonna flip this. Yeah, this is, yeah. I always forget that we lose an action for this. All right, so that was the dusk phase. Now we go on to the evening phase. So we have to assign jobs to everyone. So unless they sleep, they get fatigued. So let's just drop a fatigue everywhere here. So we got to decide who stays on guard duty and who goes out to scavenge and explore and all that. My reflex would be to send her because, you know, she can trade. So that would be good. So she would go away. And she's got prowess of 2. So I'm thinking she stays to defend. So I'll do that. So she's going to stay on guard duty, and these guys are going to go out, and we'll bring this with us, and the knife will actually go with her, because she's going to need that. All right, now I've cut off part of the map, okay, just because there's some information here, and up there it's not really going to be used or important or anything. So first off, you put your people here where your house is. So our house is in location 10, okay? And now at setup, basically, they told me to put out Plundered Old Town, which is this location here, which is in our district. And they said to draw 2 locations that are printed on this board. There's 10 or whatever, okay? There's like airport, factory, church, yada, yada, yada. Shuffle them up, pull 2 out. And the 2 that I pulled were church and city hospital. So these spots are actually here. Like if you go there, you can interact with the hospital. Okay, if there was, let's say, this here, and a card here. When you go to the hospital, the way I understand is in the hospital district, I guess, you could either visit the hospital card if it's out, or you could visit this location here that you've drawn, okay? But that's not the case right now. Right now, the hospital is here and nothing else, and the church is actually here. And what else did they say to take out? Yeah, the shelled cottage is in the factory district. That would be something I would like to do eventually, just because I'd like to advance the story. But I think our main thing here is we should get Katya some meds. So, what do you do when you start the scavenging phase, okay? Well, there's a little reminder here, and I'll put it up on the screen, but I'll read it out loud right now. So choose a district for each scavenging party and place its figures there. Because you can actually split up your party. Like if you have, I don't know, 4 characters or whatever, you leave one on guard duty, and you could send, I don't know, 2 people that way and 1 person that way, and you would split up the parties. I don't think I'm ready to do that, so I'm just going to keep them as is, as one gang. Choose equipment for each scavenging party. Okay, this is the equipment they're bringing. Starting from the district with the lower number, resolve scavenging runs. Okay, we just have 1 scavenging run because 1 group. All right, prepare the unknown deck. Draw 16 exploration cards. So you start with 16. This has been shuffled. Oh, by the way, they had me remove reality impact cards from all the decks. So there's none in here, nothing. They just had me remove all of that stuff, which is a bummer, if I'm honest, because I love these cards. But I guess the campaign itself will have more story, so maybe they want to balance it out. I don't know. So anyway, so we'll draw 16 cards. I guess we make the unknown deck with this. All right, then it says resolve the map movement for the active party. Return exploration cards to move and resolve map encounters. The way this works is, if you want to get to somewhere you want to go, you have to discard cards from this deck, because this is your timer essentially. So I start from here. Either way, I have to lose a card. Okay, that's just the way that is. Boom. Then if I move over here, you can only move to what's adjacent, by the way, and never mind these arrows. These arrows are for soldier movements, okay? So if I go here, I have to trash 2 more cards. Then let's say I cross this bridge, I gotta trash 2 more cards, and then I go down there, I gotta trash 1 more card. So this thing gets smaller and smaller the further out you get. Okay, so that's how that works. Then when you land on a space you want to be at, it says set the noise marker as shown on the active party's district. So let's say we did stop here, we'd set the noise to 3. All right, fair enough. Then we resolve party scavenging actions for the active party. Now this is something new. You can take actions. Like before you start going through the deck and scavenging per normal, you can take actions. And these actions are return the required number of exhibition cards and perform the chosen scavenging action. We can look around. So we can trash 2 cards to activate the location's look around text. Which is, now when I play, usually in the standard game, I tend to not discard any cards when I do this. Because I've found these look around things to be, how can I put this? 30% helpful, 30% flavor with nothing, and 30% bad, right? For a total of 90%. So it's so I tend to not do it, or I tend to house rule. The thing is, if you want to look around, don't waste your cards. Just look around and enjoy the game, right? But anyway, so that's the rule. So before you start actually going through the deck, you can trash 2 cards to look around. You can trash 6 cards to discover a new location. What does that mean? Well, that means that like currently, let's say we did stop here at the main station district, okay? There's nothing there. There's no location there because there's nothing on the side here that says main station. And there's no little flag here that refers to something over there, right? So you would have to discover a new location. So you trash 6 cards, draw a location, put it there, and put the little flag there. Okay, that way you've discovered some new place. And you would put a little token like this to show that you can now go and scavenge that place and plunder what's there, right? So that's what that is. Now, if you want, before you start exploring, before you go to the resolve findings stuff and all that, you can forage for resources. Now, this means that if you go to a location that doesn't have this, well, whether it does or doesn't, okay, you can go to the location, even if it's been like scavenged or plundered or whatever, and you can just trash cards equal to a number of resources you want to keep. So let's say I go to the church place that I've already emptied out, and I trash 6 cards, or let's see, yeah, 6 cards to get 3 water and 3 wood. 6. There you go. So that's what that is. Then you can also use location special ability, okay, because some of the places will say, I don't know, well, that's your standard, you know, like return 6 like expedition cards to trade or whatever, stuff like that. And then we can resolve some tokens or card special effects if there are any at that location. So that's the scavenging action. Now, you haven't even gotten into exploring the deck yet, okay? So that was number 4 here, resolve scavenging actions. Number 5, explore one location in the district only if it has an exploration token. So if it does have a little token like that, then you can actually start going through the deck and exploring the place and maybe getting some stuff. Then once that's done, it's like, okay, shuffle all the decks back together and then choose your findings. And you can add free resources only if you've explored a location. So if you've explored it, then you can add your water and your wood or whatever. And like I said, the other way to get your water and your wood and stuff like that is to, before you actually explore, is to do this thing here, like trash cards to get some resources, okay? So that's about it. So now the question is, where do we want to go? But before that, there's a soldier. What does the soldier do? Okay. Let's plop this down here and let's look into this right now. So changes in rules, map encounters resolved during movement, which is now. Let's say we want to go down there, okay? If you encounter a white soldier, so a soldier with a white base, because you can get, I don't know, blue base and black base and all that, you roll the gray combat die. Characters present may use their collective prowess. This is something new. You would actually total up their prowess and you would roll as many times, right? But right now, their collective prowess is 0. These guys have no prowess. So, okay. Roll collective prowess. Okay. So roll the gray die for each soldier miniature encountered on your way to the chosen district. Okay. Let's say we go there. We'd roll combat die. Let's do it for fun. Okay. Boom. Okay. 2 fists. Wow. For each fist icon shown, you either distribute 1 fatigue. So let's say 2 fatigue among the characters present. Any undistributed fatigue turns into wounds. That's like, let's say you can't distribute fatigue or you choose not to. Well, yeah, if I'm at 4 fatigue, I would have to, right? Okay. So you either give them fatigue, or this turns into wounds if you can't, or I guess you bribe them. You discard any tokens with a total value of 5 or more from the findings pile. So I could actually just give them this for each fist. Wow, okay. Okay. Then it says, even if all characters have 4 fatigue, they may still resolve the whole scavenging run as normal. Okay, because you could be like at 3 fatigue and then say, okay, we'll each bump up to 4. We could still continue. Usually when you're at 4, you have to go sleep. But now it's like, yeah, well, we got fatigue as we were scavenging. So it's not like you take your guys off the board. You keep going, right? And then resolve the script at the dawn phase. Makes sense. Then it says special tokens. Okay, yada. Exploration encounters. So that's when you're going through the exploration deck. You have to resolve an encounter with soldiers when exploring a location in a district with a white soldier, and one of the following conditions are met. So you have to be where the soldier is and one of 2 things. Okay, so let's say I'm where the soldier is, I'm exploring, and I draw the soldier patrol exploration card, or I roll for noise and obtain a result that is equal to or less than the current noise. In this case, you do not draw cards from the resident deck, and resolving this encounter instead. In both situations, set the noise marker to 1 and draw a card from the colors deck, then resolve the matching result described below and shuffle the color. There you go. So, if you're in a district with a soldier and you either make too much noise or draw a soldier patrol card, well then, you gotta draw a colors card and resolve some of this stuff. Okay, so I guess maybe try to avoid these guys, I find avoiding the army is always a good thing in this game. All right, so all that being said, where are we going? Well, my plan was to go to the hospital to try to heal someone. So, I believe I have already removed an exploration card from here. So what would be the way to go? This would be, let's say, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. That's pretty good. If we go here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ugh. If I remove 7 out of here, I had 17. Minus 7 is 11. Minus 1 is 10. I got 10 left. Wow, look at this. I could do 6 exploration to trade and 4 exploration to heal. But I'm pretty sure when you heal, you have to discard some more cards. So, oh, wow. So maybe we won't even get... I mean, do I chance it? Do I go through there? Again, this die isn't too bad, right? Because it's for each fist you're going to get something. And there's only 2 sides with fists. So maybe we chance it, right? Yeah, because it's roll the die for each soldier. So I would roll it once, which ain't too bad. So you know what? I think I'm going to do it. We're going to move these guys over here. We're going to lose 2 cards. So bing bang. And then let's roll and hope for the best. Yes! Okay, so no worries. Soldiers have not spotted us. And then we'll move over the bridge to the hospital and we'll discard 2 cards. All right, then we set this to 3. And now at the hospital, little mistake here, I guess. It says hospital and then it says city hospital, but I checked. There's no location card that's just called hospital. So this is a misprint, I guess. So there we go. I think the first thing we should do right off the bat is to heal, right? Because it's been a while since I've done it, but in my memory, I think when you heal, you actually have to give up some cards from the exploration deck. And I don't want to burn through it and then not be able to do it. So let's do that. Let's heal. Now this is going to be 932 in the original Book of Scripts. All right, here we go. 932. Although the hospital is nothing like it was before the war, it still evokes a certain feeling of security and safety. If there is a place that can be called a safe haven nowadays, it's this hospital. People here seem to notice only those that are in the direst need of help. Once a patient has been saved, even only barely stabilized, the staff lose all interest. Still, while in this haven, our bodies and minds have the chance to recover and perhaps even heal. There's even some food distributed from time to time. Okay, return 2 exploration cards to lower the wounds of one chosen character. Okay, not wounds. See illness over here. Return 2 exploration cards and lower the illness of one chosen character present by 1. Present. Oh, she's going to be here. And she is here. Okay, good. And return 2 exploration cards to lower the hunger of one chosen character by 1. Oh, we can actually eat. Interesting. You cannot lower a state by more than 1 for each character. All right, fair enough. And then back to game. Okay, so 2 cards for either illness or hunger. This is pretty good because, you know, getting rid of hunger means exploring, means getting food, means, you know, so maybe we do 2 cards to heal Katya over here. So Katya had an illness of 1. We're going to get rid of that. And then Katya is hungry at level 2. So I'm thinking, yeah, why not, right? 2 cards. What do we? Yeah, we still have some cards left. So 2 cards. So Katya was at hunger 2. She's going to go to hunger 1. And as for Anton, Anton is present. He's at hungry level 1. We could maybe do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 cards. Oh, 6 cards to trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, maybe we keep those cards just to trade. Because I wanted to get some of these electrical and mechanical parts and all that. We could get those by trading. Yeah, no, I just remembered. I played the game before, right? When you go to trade at the hospital, it's only green and yellow. So basically food and medicine and herbs and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's not bother with that. Let's actually try to explore the place. Yeah, okay. So do I get rid of 2 cards for Anton's hunger? I don't think so. I think I'm going to chance it. So I'm going to put this back here. So that was some, so like this would fall in under the actions, right? We haven't looked around, haven't discovered anything, haven't foraged. I don't think I'm going to do that. We've used the location special ability. And now we're going to continue down the list here and we'll actually explore. Because I want to find some mechanical stuff if I can. Alrighty, so let's start exploring. Let's do it. You guys, this is exactly, well, I say exactly, but yeah, let's see. Okay, you may ignore, discard, or search the heap. Usually in the heap is where you find these mechanically things, right? Now we can return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1 to draw a card. Okay, or we could raise the noise by 1 and roll for noise. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't have my cat burglar with me. We're at noise 3. If I raise by 1 and roll, that's 4. That's pretty bad. We're probably going to meet someone. So maybe we just return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 1. Yeah, that way we don't have to roll for noise. Okay, and we'll draw a card from the findings deck. Heap chart. What do we get? We get a mechanical part. Yeah, it's not the best, but still. So a mechanical part and a chems, which doesn't serve really any purpose right now. And we get to roll on the special findings chart, and that's going to be a 5. 5 is 4 to 6 is 2 chems. Blech. Wow. Well, it makes sense. I mean, it's a hospital. Okay, so we got this stuff. Okay, then roll the black die, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Shuffle this back. Okay, now, do we keep going? I think we should keep going. Why not? Unless we could meet someone, which would be bad. Get rid of this for now. You only live once, so let's do it. Okay, we've got an open space. On the map card, is there open space? There is not. So, if there's no open space, discard this and draw a new card from the exploration deck. So this is the exploration deck, this is the unknown deck. So let's do it. Someone's here. Raise noise by 3. So that's 4 plus 3 is 7. That's horrible. I think I should leave. But I'm going to go for it because I'm dumb. You may ignore this card or poke about. Return 1 card or roll for noise to choose 1 finding from this special finding chart. I could do this. I could just return a card and check out the special finding. What do we get in the special finding? Choose from the special finding. Okay, we can get nothing, 2 chems, herbal meds, alcohol, meds, or bandages. I mean, meds and bandages on their own are good just because they're worth 10, right? Alcohol is good, but it's alcohol is good, but it's heavy. There's a weight to it. You know, I think I'm gonna get me some bandages just in case somebody gets wounded eventually. So yeah, let's return a card to get some bandages. I mean, that's a $10 rebate right there in our lives. Okay, and then I'm not going to draw this. I'm just going to end the exploration. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. So bye-bye. Let's just see what it was. Rubble, and then something else. Okay, so that's done. Now let's not forget, we did explore this place. So the city hospital has no token anymore. So we cannot go dig, in that location anymore. We can go do the special text and all that, but we can't actually dig through that deck. All right, that's done. So let's go right now to the Night Raids phase, and I hope it's gonna be good.
He'd always been rough, but he'd never admitted what bothered him. But at that moment, he broke. "You have to make it, kid," he said, right before he died. "You gotta be tough. All that's bad will end someday." He looked at me, pleading, like me.
All right, so now it is time for the War of Fate. So again, this is just like the Fate thing in the normal game. Fate deck, basically. So let's see what that is. But, I mean, there's going to be some different actions or whatever. Hopefully it'll be a bit different and less brutal. All right, so raise the wounds of all wounded, unbandaged characters by 1. Nobody's wounded, which is good. Lower the illness of all characters who took meds. Oh, but nobody's ill, that's good. Discard meds token from all characters, fine. If cold tokens minus board ups equals 2 or more. Haha, good thing we got those board ups, right? Because cold is at 2, but minus our 2 board ups, 0. And if that hadn't been the case, we'd have raised the illness of 2 characters by 1. Okay. Then it says discard all engagement tokens from the map. The map over there, we don't have anything called engagement tokens so far. Move each white soldier 3 districts. Move each black soldier 1 district. Okay, let's go see what that's about. So it says to move the white dude here 3 districts. So you look at where he is and you follow the direction of the arrows. So basically he can't escape that way or that way. It's got to be that way because the arrow is pointing there. So 3 districts. He would go 1, and then the only way he can move out of here is here. So 2, and then 3. So he's in the factory district. Okay, now he's white, so he only follows white arrows, of course. If we had any black-based soldiers there, they would move, it says 1. So whatever, we don't have any. And then the card here, let's put it over here, says to resolve weight tokens. We don't have that. And then resolve Spirit B on all characters. And I just realized that I am a total idiot. Because most cards, as you know, are Spirit A. If we had gotten Spirit A here, Arika doesn't have any cigarettes, Katya doesn't have any coffee, their misery would have shot up like, oh my god. See, I was so into like just explaining this and healing people, I forgot that these guys need cigarettes and coffee. But we got lucky here. This is not Spirit A, it's Spirit B. So let's go see what Spirit B actually does on my people. All right, so we can activate this in any order, but I don't think it's going to matter much. See, Spirit B on both these guys is about the guitar. So if we had a guitar, we'd lower people's misery. We don't have it. Spirit B on Anton here is if Anton is hungry at level 2 or 3, which he is not, we would raise his illness. But he's not, so beautiful. And then shuffle this card back into the War Fate deck. Okay, very good. All right, so I think we got extremely lucky here because most of these cards, as I said, have a Spirit A. So we got to keep this in mind. We got to go get these guys cigarettes and coffee, or else we're going to be up Shirt Creek for a long time. And then that's basically the end of the Dawn phase because nobody died, nothing like that. So yeah, we're going to round 2. Actually, I forgot 2 things, which I usually do. After the Night Raids phase, we've got the Crime Wave, which is to shuffle 2 cards from these decks here into wherever. Now, the way I like to do this is they have you choose, basically. The rules say you can get, 1 of each, or 2 like this, or 2 like this. I always get the residents first, because you can easily avoid residents, but you cannot really avoid Night Raids. So there you go. So that's the Crime Wave. And the other thing I always forget is after the Fate situation, you draw some narrative actions, which are awesome. And I always forget this. So let's just get 2 right off the bat and see what they are. So we've got Dead On. Play during any combat or during your backstab, if you are wielding a hatchet, to automatically kill 1 enemy. Whoa. But that's if you have a hatchet. Or play during the Night Raid phase. If the character on guard duty has a hatchet, automatically ignore 1 Night Raid card. Wow! That's strong, but you need the hatchet. What about this one here? You see here, this says reward. So this is actually a card that you would get as a reward for playing scenario number, 3 or whatever in the Tales of the Ruined City expansion. But now it's part of my base game, so there you go. Something new for you guys. So Neighbor's Help. Play during the day actions phase. Discard any 3 part tokens, electrical part, mechanical part, weapon part, from the storage to place a new fitting card in the shelter for free without performing any actions or discarding any required resources / tokens. Okay, so you get rid of 3 of any parts to build something, which sounds good, but we only have 1 of those parts. But, I mean, I'll keep this for sure, because I don't have a hatchet, and I could work really hard on getting one, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'll keep this. If ever I get some part tokens, I can, yeah, okay, fine. So I'll get rid of this, I'll keep this, and then we'll shuffle this thing back into the Narrative Actions deck. All right, so there you go. This is actually all done, and now we are actually going into round 2 for reals. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button down below. Now, I know it seems like a very small thing to do, but it actually does help the channel when you do that. And if ever you should find yourself in a super generous mood, well, I do accept donations via PayPal. And anything you give, big or small, will help keep me going.